Welcome back. Time now for news from the left. At this point, it's almost comical that Joe Scarborough ever considered himself a Republican. I want you to really sit back and take this one in. Here's Joe on MSNBC insinuating that Jesus Christ was pro-abortion.
Jesus never once talked about abortion, never once. And it was happening back in ancient times. It was happening during his time. Never once mentioned it. And for people perverting the gospel of Jesus Christ down to one issue, it's heresy.
I mean, I don't care what or who you believe in. If you believe in nothing at all, if you think your dog is the Messiah, I don't care. You have to be some spectacular kind of stupid to think that the reason that Jesus Christ allegedly never talked about ripping a baby from inside of its mother and killing it is because he supported it. If Jesus never spoke against abortion, it's because it's so utterly barbaric that he didn't even have to. But after 50 years of Roe versus Wade, we've somehow turned abortion into health care in this country, which it clearly is not. And I'm actually rather moderate on the issue of abortion. But it ain't health care. We all know that. It's a life. And it's being ended. And Joe Scarborough needs a mental health check after that rant. I've never heard anything so stupid in my life. That was impressive, impressively stupid. And I'm hard to impress because I see stupid stuff all the time. Up next, MSNBC had a former Obama cabinet member on to talk about the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Instead of honoring her memory, he attacks and claims that the coverage has been overdone. CNN, take a listen.
To your earlier question, why are American news networks dedicating all of this time to Queen Elizabeth's funeral? I think it's a good question. I mean, I think it's something, there's a weakness in the American character that still yearns for that era of hereditary privilege, which is the very thing that we escaped from.
Hereditary privilege? Do we yearn for that, or do we just yearn for a time that was so much better than the time that his party has given us and what's happening to the West and what's happening to our country? Could be that too, Copernicus. CNN using the death to call her out for colonization as well, saying King Charles has the opportunity to apologize and modernize the empire. A CNN anchor went a step further and called for reparations from Charles.
There is now an understanding of how much money the royal family may have made from slavery, their involvement in sort of colonialism, and there are calls for reparations, right? And even if the reparations are unlikely to happen, you sort of do get this sense that, it's unfortunate that there's been no apology.
You never hear these people looking for any kind of accountability or reparations for the atrocities being committed today against Africans. You notice that? And there's a lot of disgusting things happening in Africa, even to this day, probably because those atrocities are being committed by other Africans. So it's not really going to help the cause to talk about it. And as the woke scream about how awful white colonialism was, which of course was just as flawed as every other piece of history from every other culture on earth, just think about what the world would look like without it, how much different it would be, how many advances would have been lost for societies all around the world. Moving on, an agonizing loss for a late-night show and the ratings from last week. This is hilarious. Jimmy Kimmel, live on ABC, a very, very once-respected late-night show, lost to MSNBC's new cable news show at 11 p.m. in the week around Labor Day. Kimmel lost to MSNBC. He's on ABC. The network's been around for like 70 years. It's amazing.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. September is historically the worst performing month for the stock market, so you better be ready for it. The Fed continues to aggressively raise rates, and JP Morgan is forecasting another mega rate hike September the 21st. Is that why Jamie Dimon said an economic hurricane is coming our way? Well, gold and silver have remained remarkably stable despite the Fed aggressively raising rates today. The Patriot Gold Group has a special incentive for Newsmax viewers. Huge! Now precious metals investors can enjoy the no-fee for life gold and silver IRA on qualifying rollovers, or enjoy free, discreet, insured shipping on all direct gold and silver purchases. Here's the number, 800-356-4470. Call 800-356-4470 today.